ECU?
Do you believe purple and gold?
Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Watch the show live on Facebook
And at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
It is Wednesday, January 14th. Welcome into the show, Hoist the Colors. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you got a question or comment, drop it in the chat. We'll get to it. Over the course of the next hour, remember to subscribe to our channels, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and check out hoistthecolors.net, our written component of our coverage, where you can get 50% off right now. Our VIP subscriptions, where we're doing in-depth looks at the ECU transfer class, previewing the baseball season, which we're doing on this show as well. We're also doing that in-depth on the website, and much more. We will continue to do recruiting scoop and more heading into the 2026 football season and beyond. All right, on today's show, we're going to continue our ECU baseball player profiles. We're going to do number 2, Jack Strom, number 3, Davin Whitaker, number 4, Nick Parham. Later in the program, take a look at what they bring to the table for ECU baseball in 2026. ECU women's basketball gets a dominant win against Tulsa, a statement win perhaps. We'll break that down later in the program as well. South Florida is hosting ECU in men's basketball. We'll touch on that too. Nearly a 20-point favorite. And we'll look at the outgoing transfers for ECU football, where they landed. I know there's always mixed takes on, should we pull for these guys? Do we care? Why are we still talking about them? Well, today will be kind of the last time we really talk about these significant ones, because we'll get plenty of incoming transfer talk throughout the remainder of the year. All right, today's cast in studio, returning to the mic in person, not on his sometimes questionable computer setup. James Giglio, what's going on, my man?
I am glad to be back. I am glad to not be over the phone trying to work on my headphone settings. I am glad to just be here in the moment, and it is going to be a good semester.
Yeah, so full disclosure, last year James had a busy schedule during our showtime, and this year our plan is to have you on every Wednesday. I will say next Wednesday we are planning to have a Bucks on the Pond special.
Okay.
If you want to join, you're more than welcome.
I mean, I got nothing. I don't have class on Wednesdays this semester, so I got nothing going on.
So we can go full-on Roundtable Plus with James, and we're going to have you on every Wednesday, talk about the latest in ECU sports and whatever else strikes our fancy. Philip Pilkinen, he is back behind the glass. Philip, how you doing on this hump day?
I'm good until you gave me the crappy chair. You had the crappy chair.
I had the crappy chair. You tried
Shrinks.
to sneak it on me, and I'm giving it to you.
I did. I'm going to blame DeMarco. DeMarco was in here messing with chairs one day, and since he's the intern and he's not here to defend himself, it's all DeMarco's fault. So, dang it, DeMarco.
Dang it, DeMarco. Is it also DeMarco's fault we're not live on Facebook?
No, that's Philip's fault. We're not live on Facebook. I was in there fixing your camera.
That's fair.
And I totally forgot to hit go. You got to hit Facebook twice. Facebook, YouTube, you only got to hit once. So that's Pilk's fault.
That one is on Pilkinen. He will rectify that now. Again, if you got a question, drop it in the chat. All right, James Giglio, we haven't heard from you in a while, so let's see. What are your thoughts on ECU in the transfer portal? We'll get more into the outgoing process in our next segment, but the additions, what has caught your eye?
What has caught my eye is the experience that they're bringing in. They're bringing experience from lower level Division I schools, the offensive linemen from Kennesaw State and Southern Miss. Those guys have played a lot of Division I snaps. They have a lot of experience, and they're coming, I think, for a bigger are playing more championship level football. ECU, I think, in the American has a legit shot to win the American next year. So they're playing, and if they win the American, they can go to the playoff. Well, they're also bringing in receivers from ACC schools, guys that didn't play a lot, the guy from Miami and the guy from Wake Forest, the receivers. So those guys who didn't play a lot, they're looking for bigger roles. So I think they're bringing in a lot of different experiences from different areas. And so I'm excited about next year. Their conference schedule is pretty easy. I like the quarterback we brought in, Griffiths from Texas Tech. He also played at Wake Forest, where he played meaningful snaps there. I think he played one game for Texas Tech this year when
Oklahoma State, I believe.
Oklahoma State, their quarterback got hurt. So I'm excited to see how he plays. He's an older guy, and I think they're kind of trying to follow the blueprint maybe from last year where they had a lot of experienced guys, a lot of older guys, and it just shows that ECU, I think, is ready to win now.
I would just say with talking to people over at ECU, they're very high on what they've done in the transfer portal, and I think that obviously they've lost some tough pieces. Quarterback is still a valid question mark. I think that will continue to be addressed after the national championship game. But I think what they've done thus far, they feel more like they've reloaded rather than a restart. I mean, in many ways, look, everybody is restarting every year. It's just a giant cluster out there. But I think ECU, really outside of 2 or 3 guys, everybody they brought to campus during this week or two period that they really wanted in the transfer portal for visits, they landed. So most of their top targets they got, and specifically on that offensive line, at receiver, DB, they feel like they've upgraded there. Obviously, losing Riddle, we'll get into, is a big loss, but overall they feel like they've added quite a bit. And I think they're in a position now, if they hit on some certain places, they expect to compete next year towards the top of the league. All right, crazy stuff happening in the NFL. We haven't really touched on this show, so we'll do this, especially since you are a fan of the New York Jets, who you want them to fire their coach. They are one of the few teams who had a bad year that has not.
Yes.
But this coaching carousel, Mike Tomlin out in Pittsburgh, Harbaugh out in Baltimore, a lot of coach openings. What do you make of the carousel in the NFL?
Yeah, it's getting wild in the NFL. Kind of reminded me of the this past year's college coaching carousel. That was pretty wild, with Lane Kiffin and all the big-time jobs that opened up Penn State. Listen, for the Jets, I think firing Aaron Glenn would be the right move. The thing is, the Jets have the resources. We have 2 first-round picks. We have 4 picks in the top 50. We're going to have the most salary cap out of any team in the NFL this upcoming offseason. And we have 3 first-round picks next year. I mean, on paper, this is an attractive job. The only issue is it's the New York Jets. And you have owner Woody Johnson, who is arguably one of the worst owners in just sports in general. So that just takes away all the valuable resources that the New York Jets have to offer. But there are some good openings. I mean, the Raiders' job is obviously very attractive. Baltimore and Pittsburgh's job, obviously very storied and attractive. The Giants have a very attractive job. So maybe, I kind of sat on it, and maybe the Jets firing their coach wouldn't be a great idea because they probably wouldn't get the coach I would want anyway. So
I'm looking at some of the odds. I get these emails. I don't know why, but I do, from Jimmy Shapiro at stuffmediagroup.com. Anyways, he sends the odds like every day. The favorite to win the Arizona Cardinals' next head coach is defensive coordinator Vance Joseph from the Broncos, so keep an eye there. Probably won't be hired, obviously, until Denver's done in the playoffs. Stefanski is the favorite to win the Falcons job, although Clint Kubiak and John Harbaugh are in the mix for that. Jesse Minter is the favorite for the Baltimore Ravens job, followed by Clint Kubiak and Brian Flores. The Browns' favorite, Mike McDaniel. Brian Flores, the Raiders' favorite. So, I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff, guys.
I got Mike McDaniel. I feel like Mike McDaniel would be a good fit as OC in Philly. That's what I've been kind of feeling for him.
I don't know if I want him as my head coach. A lot of this stuff is these guys just get recycled, man. And it just comes down to having a quarterback, really.
Yeah, that's how it kind of is in the NBA, too. The coaches just get fired and picked up by a new team in a month. So
the one thing I will say is this, guys, like if we sat here and created a list of guys who've won a Super Bowl with their second team, like it is a pretty hefty list. Like when you think about it, I mean, obviously Belichick, but Andy Reid won one with his second team.
Kubiak with
Denver. Don Shula with the Dolphins. Bruce Arians. I mean, there's a lot of now. All those guys had great quarterbacks. Well, maybe not Bob Greasy wasn't great, but you get my point. Like there are guys who've been recycled who have won Super Bowls. It's not like it's a kiss of death to hire a fired coach.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, like I know James and I were texting about it, but even, and not that I watched a lot of Jets games this year, but if they fire Aaron Glenn, it's like, how much of it is just hitting on a quarterback in the draft? Is the real question at this point, especially with all those picks. No matter who the head coach is, if they hit on those picks, it's more about talent evaluation to me. Like, do you trust their GM?
Yeah, I actually do trust the GM. He made the smart move to trade Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams at the time when they were, most valuable and get all those first round picks that they got. I was super excited about Dante Moore until I watched the Oregon-Indiana game. Now I've kind of transitioned focus to the Ole Miss quarterback, maybe potentially in the
Shambles.
early second round, and maybe just picking defense at the second overall pick and maybe a receiver at the mid-first round pick. But I do trust the GM for the Jets, and maybe Aaron Glenn just needs another year. But like you were saying, Philip, I think second-year head coaches, sometimes a coach just needs a restart, right? I think Harbaugh and Tomlin just need restarts. They've been with the same franchise for 18-plus years or 15-plus years. And sometimes a coach, I think, just needs a fresh start.
All right, NFL divisional round coming up this Saturday. Let's touch on that. We'll get a break in after that. Buffalo, Denver getting the – I guess it can't really be the Houston Texans slot since it's not wild card weekend, but still.
No, even in the divisional round, they had always played at 4:30 on Saturday. The difference was they played Monday night.
Am I biased? I feel like Buffalo, Denver could be the best game of the weekend. You have San Fran, Seattle, Houston, New England. I guess Rams, Bears could be fun.
There
but
are a lot of good games. Yeah.
It depends. I mean, if the Bears want to keep it close, it could be good. The Houston New England game should be good, but
that game's going to be like 12-9.
It will be. I just hope it's a fun 12-9. Like I felt like the other night, I was like, okay, defensive slugfest, low scoring. It wasn't a defensive slugfest. It was just like bad offense.
Yeah, it was just
like
bad.
neither offense wanted to win.
C.J. Stroud was terrible. Aaron Rodgers was terrible. Yeah.
What are your thoughts? You were telling me, James, that you had a perfect weekend picking the wild card
I did,
games.
yes. I was very impressed with myself. I picked Buffalo correctly. I saw my coin flip games. I got them all correct. My divisional picks, if we're just sticking with the bracket I picked before the playoffs, I got Buffalo. I got Houston in the AFC Championship game. Buffalo, Houston, the AFC Championship game. NFC, I got Seattle and LA. I feel like that's kind of the easy pick out in the NFC. And then I think I had my Super Bowl, LA and Buffalo.
So I said the winner Buffalo, Jacksonville would win the AFC. So I'm going to stick with that. Although the thing that, as a Denver fan, and I'm still going to pick Buffalo, I told Philip, and I don't have a problem admitting this, as soon as Buffalo beat Jacksonville, I put all my money in my DraftKings account, which is not really that much money. But I put all that on Buffalo money line, so that way if they beat Denver, I'll be feeling a touch better.
Emotional hedge.
But they are extremely beat up, and they're going to be on short rest, and they have to come to Denver in the playoffs, which I think is a different animal compared to a lot of home field advantages.
Yeah.
Allen's he's on the injury report, is limited with a finger, knee, and ankle injury, and they're down to 3 receivers. They lost 2 receivers between CLs in the divisional round, or in the wild card round, excuse me. I am worried about their tight ends. I think they're going to go a lot of 12 personnel, run the ball, play action, pass. We'll see how Denver handles that. But I don't know. I mean, Denver's got a better team. It's just Josh Allen in the playoff terrifies me.
Yeah, I was going to say it took, honestly, a Josh Allen legacy game to beat Jacksonville because on paper, Jacksonville was a better team, right? They were at home. They were the hottest team in the NFL. Their defense was playing, lights out the last 8 weeks of the year, really. And all Buffalo really has is Josh Allen, who is probably the best quarterback on the planet right now. So I think for them to beat Denver, I mean, we're going to have to see another Josh Allen legacy game. And he's got all the lingering issues that you just touched up on. And but, yeah, Buffalo's going to have to run the ball, use those tight ends, Knox and Kincaid, if they're going to want to win that one.
How do you feel, Philip, as somebody who has some ties to the Broncos? I think you're still picking Buffalo, leaning towards that right now?
I'm leaning towards Denver.
Yeah.
I picked Buffalo when the playoffs started, but losing Gabe Davis and just seeing how bad really that O-line is. I mean, he could get sacked 8 times Saturday, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to be that high, but I think it might be
sacked him
5.
8 times in the regular season.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It just something didn't feel right the other day with Buffalo. And now, any given Sunday, right? I mean, every day's a new day, but something to me didn't feel right.
I think San Fran's kind of in the same boat. Like
they're so banged.
They're great. They did a great job winning, but like now they got to take on a fresh Seattle team. I mean, do you give them any? I mean, obviously you give them a shot, but like I'm going Seattle there.
Yeah, I would go Seattle. I mean, honestly, last week was pure coaching. I think from Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh. I mean, they had the Eagles in a cage, I felt like last week with Jalen Hurts. He wasn't able to do anything. And, I mean, Kyle Shanahan really just stuffed Nick Sirianni in a locker. And then they fired their offensive coordinator like 2 days later. So
Yeah, and you're 100% right, James. The question now comes moving ahead 1 week when JSN's on the field. Can you just outcoach Seattle?
yeah, I mean, and
I feel like they're too good to just be outcoached.
yeah, I mean, Philly got Sirianni got blatantly outcoached, but JSN is, I mean, and Mike McDonald is not even a bad coach. He's a great
Yeah,
coach,
good
actually,
coach.
young great coach. I bet the Ravens wish they didn't let him go.
Yeah.
Texans, Patriots. The total was at 40.5. I think I'm taking the under. Honestly, man. I just watching the Patriots the other day. Like they're completely content going 3 to 5 yards at a time, and we know the Texans aren't explosive on offense. And didn't their receiver get hurt? Nico Collins.
Yeah.
We know his status for the game. So that's just going to be an absolute slugfest.
Yeah, he got a concussion, I think.
Okay.
So I mean, if it's not really bad, he should be back.
He's in concussion protocol right now.
Somebody said in the chat, Bears versus Texans would be a disaster for a Super Bowl game.
I don't think so.
I think you'd have a very big contrast of styles there, offense versus defense, where it could make for. I think anything, honestly, I think if Denver or Houston make this Super Bowl, it's going to be an ugly Super Bowl because those two teams are just so defensively driven. But you could say the same thing about the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Sam Darnold, they're not going to pass the ball any more than they need to.
Yeah, I mean, it's also hard to trust. That's another reason I was just going to point out for
Yeah.
San Fran and Seattle is I don't know if you could trust Sam Darnold quite yet in the playoffs after we saw his performance
Yeah.
last year with the Vikings. But yeah, it's a Super Bowl matchup. I think if Denver or Houston, it would be ugly.
I think if you want the most exciting Super Bowl matchup, you go Buffalo versus Rams or Bears. But I don't know how realistic that is.
Yeah. Stafford against Allen.
Yeah, that would be incredible. So we'll see. Santa Clara is the Super Bowl venue this year, which is where Denver won Super Bowl 50. So we'll see what happens with Super Bowl 60. Let's get a break in. We do have some questions about the quarterback situation. I'll address that when we get back. We'll also dive into the transfer portal outgoing players for ECU. How do we feel about them? Does it differ circumstances for every player? I want to hear your take as fans as well, like a Caden Hauser versus a Jamali Riddle or a Zion Wilson situation, which is honestly kind of awkward. But we'll get into that much more. This is Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
For over 51 years, Parker's Barbecue has brought families together with our award-winning whole hog barbecue and fried chicken. Tradition is important at Parker's Barbecue, and for 3 generations, the Parker's Way has stood the test of time. Whether you visit our dining rooms or drive-thrus, use our on-site catering, or even use our nationwide shipping, the hospitality, barbecue, fried chicken, homemade sides are still the same.
We are the Parker family. Come in and let our family show you. This is the Parker's Way.
Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics.
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, second segment here on a Wednesday. Glad to have James Giglio back in studio, Hoist the Colors intern, getting class credit this semester. So you got to put in the hours now, James.
Everyone, I got to log it.
I got to sign those documents to prove that you're actually interning. Philip Hilton and producing. All right, quick question before we get into our outgoing transfer discussion. Kenny Curlins with a comment. He said, I watched a bunch of videos on ECU new quarterback Mitch Griffiths. He had kind of a right-hand, smaller Holton Ahlers vibe. He can spin it and is not afraid of running. By the way, check out Mitch Griffiths on the Holton Ahlers podcast. We had our written article with him, and really good stuff with Holton Ahlers as well. I think Pirate fans will enjoy his personality. Robert adds, he's an older guy, coach's son. He should at least bring leadership. And I look, everything I've heard from Texas Tech people is tremendous locker room presence. So even if he doesn't play, I expect him to be a tremendous asset to the team. And the more I talk to him, more I listen to him, I think Mitch Griffiths could surprise a lot of people, but we'll see. All right, Lane Smith says, when can we expect another quarterback? Lane, probably, when's the national championship game? Monday night?
Monday night.
Yeah.
Ideally, next Tuesday. So if everything goes according to plan. All right, outgoing transfers. One of the reasons we're talking about quarterbacks is because Caden Hauser went to Illinois. Here's the list of guys who have committed somewhere. Yannick Smith committed to SMU. Javonte Connor committed to Vandy. Jamarion McCrimmon committed to NC State. Desirio Riles to Florida State. Emmanuel Poku to South Carolina. Jamali Riddle to Georgia. London Montgomery to Florida. Justin Benton to North Texas. Zion Wilson to Virginia. And Chasten Ditta to North Texas. So there's your list. A lot of guys who left have not signed anywhere. Kind of surprised at some of these guys where they ended up. I'm curious, if you're listening as a fan, are you going to follow these guys at all? Do you forget about them when they leave? What's your take on that? And then we'll start here. Just some of these landing spots guys. Like, I think Yannick Smith at SMU is a good fit. I think the ACC is good for his skill set. I think Illinois is a decent fit for Caden Hauser. Poku to the SEC is interesting. I think he can play there, but I don't know if he'll be as good as he was or thinks he is. Jamali Riddle to Georgia. I love Jamali Riddle, but Georgia, you're talking about one of the best rosters in college football.
And they pump out NFL safeties too. So
he's a great talent. Is he big enough? London Montgomery to Florida. I just don't see London playing a lot there, but I don't know. What do you make any of these stand out to you, James?
You mentioned Caden Hauser playing well at Illinois, and I have my concerns with that because we've already seen him at a Big Ten school. We already saw him at Michigan State where he wasn't fantastic at all, and I think I would have liked to see him go to an SEC or ACC school where he can – because, I mean, he played at his best here when they were playing fast, throwing the ball a lot, and that's just not what they're going to do at Illinois. Is just like one of those smash-mouth teams that's going to run the ball first and second down and play super slow. And so I didn't really like that fit a lot. I would have liked the Virginia Tech better for Caden Hauser, like we were talking about before the portal opened up.
I was hearing Baylor as well early on, and I think that could have been interesting.
That could have been great. Yeah, Big 12. Yeah,
I know he wants to be in pro style to acclimate to potentially being a pro quarterback, but it's just times that can be tricky as well. The Chasten Ditta thing to me, it still rubs me the wrong way. And again, I understand what's happening here. He wants to go back closer to home. He will basically be in the same situation, competing for a starting job. They took a transfer from UCF, I think Taven Jackson. So he's going to be in a competition. He's now closer to home, but he's in the same conference. I just feel like he should have stuck it out here. So I was here in North Texas early. That's where he ended up, and so be it, I guess. This is college football.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect him to transfer, especially after the Pitt bowl game. I thought he could have been a very good competitor for the starting job here next year, and even the year after that, because, I mean, Griffiths is not going to be here next year. He's 24. So I was very disappointed that Jackson did leave. But like you said, I guess, going closer to home, and, yeah, it is what it is.
What was your take on Dida laying at North Texas, Philip?
I mean, I guess if he's going to do it, at least you can make the old argument of he is going closer to home. The tough thing I think about it was he wasn't that highly sought after, and ECU took a chance on him. Now, with that being said, I do feel like it was John David Baker that took a chance on him, and John David Baker is gone. So I do get that. I think it'd be one of those, if Caton stayed, maybe I would be a little less upset with the move for Chaston. Like, hey, I want a shot to at least compete now, whereas if Caton's here, I'm not competing. But with Caton gone, you're going to be in the competition at worst. So, I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way, too.
Yeah, look, I'm never going to wish ill will on a player leaving.
Unless they go to State or Carolina.
Yeah, like McCrimmon
He can go kick rocks.
State. I mean, that's just – I heard he was going to go to Florida State. I don't know what happened there. He ends up at NC State. I don't know, man. I mean, ECU offered him a lot of money to come back and be the left tackle. I'm sure he got a raise from NC State. I doubt it was that much compared to what ECU offered him per my sources. So, like, now I will give NC State credit. They have produced a lot of pros along the offensive line.
Yeah, they have.
But I don't know, Jay. You have some ties, obviously family that are NC State people. So I just feel like anytime you go from ECU to State, it's going to cause a rift.
A little ripple, yeah. I mean, I was telling some of my State friends and fans of State that I know that it was a good pickup for them. And like you said, I mean, State does. I mean, they got Joe Tooney, who's probably a Hall of Famer. He's on the Bears right now in another playoff run. Ike Ikwonu played better for the Panthers this year. I know Philip knows about him. I can't really think of any other ones besides those two. But, I mean, those are good starters right there.
Yeah, I think Riles at Florida State is honestly a solid fit, going back to his home state of Florida. And Javante Connor, look, Connor and Riles are two of the more naturally gifted tight ends ECU has had since I've started covering the team. So that's going to be hard to replace. I do think, like London Montgomery going to Florida, and he's rated as like a top 15 back in the transfer portal. His production was good, but like he, to me, is very replaceable. I mean, never did I watch him run and say that, like, man, this guy ECU's going to be in trouble when he leaves. I just thought he was a solid running back. I don't know. Am I wrong?
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think there was a lot of other. I mean, there's other running backs on the roster this past year that, I mean, they were running like, okay, they're the same level as London Montgomery, but I mean, top 15 in the portal. I mean, and running back's probably the most expandable position in football. Easiest to replace. So I mean, yeah, that one's definitely weird, especially since he said Florida also brought back their two backs from last year.
Yeah,
so.
They brought back their top guy and second guy. So I mean,
who knows?
He's kind of going back. Here's my question: Is it better to play and be the guy at ECU making a decent amount of money, or is it better to make double the amount and be third or fourth in line? I guess it depends on the individual, because I think we're seeing that with some of these moves.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just depends on your
priorities.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like a classic. Would you rather be a backup on a Super Bowl team and not do anything, or would you rather be a starter for the Raiders and make $100 million a year but never go to the playoffs or anything? I mean, it's one of those scenarios. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the London Montgomery one's definitely weird. The tight ends, I think, are fine. Like you said, they're naturally gifted. So them going to big-time schools of Vanderbilt, who's emerging in football, and Florida State, who's historically good in football, I don't see anything weird there. But, yeah, I mean, Montgomery, Florida, I don't know.
James, you brought up an interesting third point there when you made the NFL reference, though, that we didn't mention here. We talked about chasing the money as opposed to the starting job, but also winning as opposed to losing. And obviously, in the era of college football with the roster turnover, you don't know how good a team is going to be year to year. But that is the other thing at East Carolina. Not only were you a starter, but you were a starter on a team that could contend for a conference championship. Would you rather just go somewhere, maybe you make a little more, and you don't start, and then you barely scratch out a bowl game because you win 6 or 7 games, or if you stay at East Carolina, You start, you make a little less, and you have a chance to backdoor your way into the college football playoff if they don't change the group of 5 rule for next year.
It's a lot to consider.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to, and you see this is, the NBA and college football and sports are not the same, but you see in the NBA, there are some NBA players that just don't care about winning, I think.
They just want to get paid.
They just want to get, Trae Young, John Morant. I think Devin Booker's in that boat. We saw that with Bradley Beal. There's some players that just don't care about it. They're in it for the money.
All right, I asked for the fans' comments on these guys, as you would expect. A lot of guys choosing to move on. Kenny says, absolutely don't care what they do now. They aren't Pirates. With that, if any of them go on to play pro, I will pull for them. Mark says, agree with Kenny. Who cares where they go once they are gone? Elaine Smith says, don't care about them at all. If you're not on my team, go to hell. Robert says, I think Montgomery lands in the worst spot of all the transfers. Matthew says, I wish them the best. Probably won't follow them. If I hear their name in the media, I'll probably check it out. So my other question would be and I agree with most of those takes. Are you fine pulling for a guy like Raheem Jeter? Who probably could have left 2 years ago because he wasn't going to play, but he stayed here 3 years. He just needs to go somewhere else to play more. I've heard he could end up at Southeastern Missouri, but those guys, I think you almost pull for.
I was getting ready to say, I'm definitely going to be pulling for Raheem Jeter. He was here for 3 years and didn't play at all. I'm rooting for him. If you've been here for 3 years, you've made your contributions in practice and in the locker room like he has. I think it's right for him to go and try and find a starting job somewhere for his last couple years of eligibility. I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Ryan Stubblefield thing, right?
Yeah.
Especially quarterback, any position, but especially quarterback. You only get X amount of years to play this game. And if you're leaving because you see, I am never going to see the field at East Carolina. I have not panned out the way they wanted me to. I'm going to drop down to lower division and go get some playing time. I feel that way about any guy who comes here to any school. That's what the portal's supposed to be. Hey, I didn't pan out. It's not a lack of loyalty. It's just hey, I've got one more year to go play football. Let me actually get in a game, even if I go to the D2 level or the FCS level. I'm cool with that. And then also guys like Jamarly. I get it. It stinks, but if he stays here, that could cost him to be a 4th or a 5th round pick. If he goes and shows out at Georgia, we're talking about late 1st, early 2nd round. So, I think that was one of those things. It wasn't he didn't want to be at East Carolina. He just did what was best for his future. The guy played the bowl game. The guy had to know he was transferring. He is too damn good
and he got
to
hurt.
have not already had you. Exactly. He plays in the bowl game. He gets hurt, and you know what? He still can go get something somewhere else. That's fine. Look, he was with us till the very end, and now, he's too highly sought after to not do that. It stinks. I kind of hate that they can transfer that easy, but I get it. I'm no ill will towards Jamarly, I guess, is my point there. Don't hate the player, hate the game on this one.
The only one I'm struggling with how to feel is Zion Wilson, because here's a guy who came in as a walk-on, developed, did things the absolute right way, waited his time, crushed it, doesn't have a year of eligibility remaining. ECU wasn't really counting on him to come back. And then from what I gather, he just kind of entered the portal on his own, didn't really talk to anybody at ECU, and he's going to Virginia. And I feel like ECU could have paid him a lot, fought for his extra year. I just don't have enough clarity on what exactly happened there. But
has he been granted the extra year?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
So I just don't know how to feel about that whole situation.
So he might not even be playing?
He may not. There's no guarantee. Obviously, you got this Chambliss situation. He's fighting the NCAA. Maybe Zion maybe his agency told him, hey, if you come with us, we'll get you paid and we'll get you your extra year. I just don't know enough about the situation to really say. I'm kind of torn on that one. It's just a weird situation.
Yeah, it's a weird situation because, if he says, I'm going to fight for an extra year of eligibility, then ECU would have a chance to fight for him to play next year. So,
yeah. So the good news is ECU was not factoring him into next year's class either way, and so you move on, and it is what it is. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. If you got any more comments on the situation, somebody says Myles Garrett definitely doesn't care about winning. Well, he at least cares about getting sacks and is pretty dang good at it. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk some Pirate baseball. We got to continue on our Pirate baseball profiles. Any other comments we get, I'll read those as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday.
storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Here, we're going to do a couple more baseball profiles, ECU baseball player profiles in a second. Philip Token producing, James Giglio, Hoist the Colors intern in studio. Some other comments from our previous discussion about outgoing transfers. Davy Jones saying it's sad, but it's all about the money. And some talk about Riddle. Kenny says he could get, be a backup in the SEC versus be a star at ECU. And then Robert points out Siobhan Rebel showed out in the American and has 2 more years to raise his stock in, I guess, the NFL. So, man, it can all go both ways, and every guy just has to make their own decision. It is what it is. Something I did think was funny, I meant to bring it up last segment. Last time James was on the show, we did a draft of or a ranking of top 10 guys we wanted to see return. I think collectively the only guys we brought back that we selected were Brock Spalding and maybe Preston Carr?
I think I had Preston Carr.
Yeah, one of us did.
So that's it. Everybody else is gone. Maybe we should do a new rank our 10 most important new Pirate players list at some point this spring.
We can do that next week.
Okay.
I'm not prepared right now to do
that.
I
mean, I'm not either. So we will do that. Let's plan on that. Maybe not next Wednesday because we got a baseball show, but sometime before spring ball. All right, ECU baseball player profiles. What we're doing is we're running down just some general notes, going through numerical order. Yesterday we did Jeff Sabater and Carlos Hakame. And now we're going to do number 2, number 3, and number 4. Number 2 is freshman outfielder Jack Strom from Millbrook High School. Are you familiar at all with Millbrook?
I am familiar with Millbrook. Yeah. Garner played them in a handful of sports when I was in high school. They're only like 20 minutes away from my house.
So one of those high schools in the Triangle. Also, once upon a time, produced ECU quarterback legend Reed Herring. Anyways.
Forgot about that.
Jack Strom, freshman from Millbrook, batted .350, 11 triples, 17 doubles, 42 stolen bases in his career. here's the thing. I mean, a freshman, it's hard to know what to expect. I will say, left-handed hitter, physical, 6'2", 205. I was impressed from what I saw from Jack Strom in the fall, excuse me. I just don't know where he fits because the outfield is crowded. We talked about it. Braden Burris can play second. He could play anywhere in the outfield. There's some transfers. You also have Jack Herring back, Alex Peltier back. Outfield is crowded, but would not be surprised if he gets some opportunities early in the season and cashes in on them. So, I don't know. Do either of y'all have anything else to add about Jack Strom before we move on?
I was just going to say, look, if this is one of those guys, if he doesn't play early in his career, just remember, neither did Riley Johnson.
Yep. Another guy who will be competing for spots, I almost said snaps in the outfield, innings in the outfield, is Davin Whitaker from Davie County. He is officially a redshirt sophomore, redshirt in 2024. Last year played in 33 games with 7 starts. He had a walk-off single against UTSA, which was a big moment, I remember, towards the end of that season. Good size, 6'4", 205. And look, I'm always a fan of guys who, again, are willing to stick it out. There have been ups and downs. It hasn't all come easy for Davin Whitaker, but 2 homers last year. Didn't he also hit like a walk-off homer for like a mercy rule?
He did. His first career home run, he put it off the right field foul pole as a mercy rule home run.
Yeah, so that was against Memphis. So look, if nothing else, James, he's got a flair for the dramatic, Davin Whitaker. So we could see him get some innings this year.
Yeah, Whitaker was a guy, I think, who he started off last year, kind of struggled, but he picked up the pace as the season went on, as conference play went on, and he's going to be a nice addition. And like you said, it's always nice to have guys that are willing to stick it out, and so you got to give him credit there. And it'll be exciting to see, what he does this year. I mean, like I said, he's probably going to have a little bit of a bigger role than what he had last year, but he'll still be a nice depth piece and probably a pinch hitter like he was last year.
The one thing I want to see at Whitaker, if he can cut down on his strikeouts. Now, something to note from Whitaker, bigger guy, obviously you're going to have some swing and miss. Over the summer for the Coastal Plain League in Boone, over 33 games, he hit .384 with a .477 on base percentage and OPS over 1,000. 18 doubles, 1 triple, a homer, 27 RBI, 16 walks, 27 strikeouts. So still some swing and miss, but good summer. So maybe he can carry that into this season. But he's another guy to watch in the outfield competition. All right, number 4 is Nick Parham, another guy who has been around the program going into year 3. Played in 5 games as a freshman in 2024. Last year played in 23 games with 2 starts. Hit his first collegiate home run against Tulane. 6 foot 190, a junior. I would expect Parham to enter the year as kind of a utility backup infielder. He can play second, third, or short. So at the end of the day, another guy coming back with some experience, Phillip, who can play multiple positions, and I don't think you can ever have really enough of these guys. Another left-handed hitter, too.
Yeah, and, like we kind of talked about it yesterday. You're going to have somebody emerge as your fourth guy in the infield between second, short, and third. And look, he's going to be in the competition for that. He was probably the fourth guy last year when you think about that. And I think there's a lot of competition for that this year. I think he's a guy who's going to play, and there's going to be some guys around him, and it's a matter of whether or not he can beat those guys out. Then he can be a late-game sub or give a guy a day off. And if he gets beat out by some of those guys, he could fall out of graces with the coaches, and we could see him in the portal next year. So, like I said, it's just up to Nick and the guys around him. But it's gonna be a tough. I wouldn't even say job to win, because you're kind of like saying you're winning the 6th man job in the NBA. But that's what it is, and it's still a very important role in college baseball.
The one thing is I wrote on our kind of show preview that I see all these guys initially as depth pieces. The one good thing about Cliff Godwin's program is if you earn it, I mean, there's nothing that's going to keep you off the field. So, who's to say that none of these guys end up having a critical role? I mean, who thought Jack Herring last year at this time was going to be one of the best hitters by the end of the year?
Yeah.
Like, when I watched him last fall, I was like, this dude's not going to play at ECU, and he ended up being one of the best players on the team.
Yeah.
So, you just never know, man. And there's some guys who have set positions, James, but, I think more than anything with ECU baseball, what we see on opening day, and we said this yesterday, I think Phillip did, first off, it's going to be completely different by the end of the year. It'll probably be different by the end of opener weekend. Like, the lineup will change quite often.
Yeah, it's definitely a long season. I mean, last year, this isn't even really from a player thing, but like I remember last year we were talking about, ECU was dead in the water. They're not going to make the tournament, and then they run the table in the conference tournament, end up making the tournament, end up beating Florida in the regional and coastal. It just shows that it's a long season, so anybody can start off cold and pick their way up through the year and earn an elevated role. And I think we could definitely see that with not only Nick, but also Davin Whitaker, like we just talked about.
I pulled up last year's opening day lineup. You did have Braden Burr start hitting leadoff, which kind of went away and then came back. Dixon Williams, Colby Wallace hitting 3-hole, Austin Irby hitting 4-hole. You had Keenan Bowman starting in right field hitting 5-hole. Braxton Trammell started, got subbed for Nick Parham. You had Alex Boucher at shortstop, Walker Barron, and then Alex Peltier in center. So, less changes maybe than I would initially thought, but still, like,
some of those guys though, like, went away and came back though.
100%.
Like,
definitely got moved
Peltier.
around a while, yeah.
And I guess Braden started at second.
Yeah, so like I would project him as he started the year in the outfield, but then
was he in left on opening day?
Yeah, he was in left.
Then who DH? Trammell?
Trammell was your
DH. Okay, that makes sense. I was just trying to put the line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean historically, if you go back and look at any opening day lineup Cliff Galvin had, I mean it changed vastly. Like I'm looking at 2024 now, and the opening day lineup that day included Chaz Myers and Jason Janesco, Luke Nowak. So I mean, like you just never know sometimes. So
I think that might have been Chaz Myers' only start.
I was saying, I don't think Chaz Myers definitely did not finish the year.
Yeah, he was another guy who left midseason. So it's one of those things. You just never know. And that's part of the beauty of sports. Like, practice matters, obviously. Practice makes perfect, but sometimes guys show up under the lights differently than they do in practice. Let's get our final break in. We'll come back. We got to talk some hoops. The women get a big win over Tulsa, statement win. Also, Pirates head to USF and men's basketball tonight. Can they cover the spread? We'll get into that. This is Hoist the Colors.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be
Like
your
all
trusted
pirates,
choice
Stephen
agency.
Igo is loyal and bold. He may also have a touch of scurvy. Back to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Final segment here. Final few minutes of the program. Talk some hoops. ECU women get a huge win last night over the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And really a statement win. Tulsa came in 3-0 in the conference. ECU wins it 79-48. Kim McNeil's squad, I think 8 of 9 now they've won. They are 12-6 overall, 4-1 in the league. Tied for second place with USF and North Texas. Rice is 3-0. They lead the conference and are 13-3 overall. Kennedy Fauntleroy, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. Goodness gracious, what a night for her. Savannah Brooks, 19 points. Kiana Rembert, 16 points and 3 boards with 3 blocks. ECU as a team, 11 of 27 from three-point range, 41%. Philip, you were there, and it's good to see an ECU team shooting the ball well in Minges.
It is. It was great to see. It actually probably was the best all-around offensive output that we've seen, maybe even in the Kim McNeil era. And that includes the team that went to the NCAA tournament, because that team was a lot of relying on defense for live ball turnovers and transition opportunities. But as you mentioned it, Stephen, 33 points come from downtown. Well, 32 came in the paint. And then they also hit 8 free throws. So that's, 67 plus 8 is 75. So you only had 4 points come from medium-range jumpers, which means they had a great balance of being able to hit the three and working the ball inside. They were hitting contested layups. They had great ball movement. There were times where girls would drive baseline, and you could tell they were going. You could tell by the way the play ended. They had always intended passing the ball, but they went strong to the hoop. There were a lot of assists down on the low block. There was great ball movement for threes. There was contested threes hit. There was good defense. They held Tulsa's best player to 5 points. She was 1 of 15 from the field. She had 31 points in their last game. This was just an all-around great team win, and I think it's something they can really off of.
We're trying to get Kim McNeil on the show. We'll see if we can do that by the end of the week, but if not, we'll get her on soon. James, the real question is, do we need to start covering more women's basketball? Is it time for us to roll into Minges as Hoist the Colors?
I follow the women's team a little bit. I do the play-by-play for WZMB, so
yeah.
I do follow some of those home games. And I've been impressed with them in the games I've gone to this year. Their guard play, Fauntleroy, like you said, Savannah Brooks, they have been good additions. Savannah Brooks, especially Jayla Herp, I know was on the team last year. But yeah, we should start going. The men's team they haven't. I don't even know what to say about them.
There's nothing
to say
right
about
now.
them.
I'm sorry.
Herp was coming off that ACL injury and just looked a step slow last year.
Yeah.
She even said, I talked to her preseason, and she even said it was it just felt weird. It wasn't really nervousness of tearing it again. It just felt odd. And she said that this year, she's back to feeling normal and
Fresher.
herself. And you can just tell. She looks like herself.
So the women are, again, 4-1 in the league. They host Temple, which is 7-9, 1-3 this Saturday. If you want to see some good basketball, 2 p.m. tip-off. Then they go at UTSA, at UAB. That UTSA game could be critical as they hit the road for a 2-game swing after that. So Kim McNeil squad, great offense, great defense, great all-around win. The men tonight, guys, they're at USF, 18.5-point dogs.
What? It's gone down?
It's gone down. It started at, 20?
20.5.
I don't know.
Vegas knows something.
I don't have many hopes. USF playing pretty well. They're 73 in the nation by Kim Palm. So they went on the road, beat North Texas, which has a solid team, and lost in overtime at home to UAB. So I don't know.
Potential tournament team?
Yeah, they could be.
Winner?
Yeah, could be. They've got some NIL funding. So Pirates, big dogs tonight. Any thoughts?
I do not expect them to cover. I was just talking about it with you over the break. I've been pretty checked out with ECU men's basketball. I went to the UNC game in person over winter break, and that game was a disaster. I wasn't expecting them to win, but to lose by 50 or whatever they lost by, yeah. But I'll be tuned in tonight. I'll be rooting for them to see if they cover. And hope. Honestly, not even cover. Hopefully they win. Maybe pull off, shock the world.
I will say, Mike Schwartz, they play hard every night. They just don't have the roster this year, and we'll get into that discussion another time. A quick trivia before we get out of here. I know we got like 30 seconds left. There are 4 remaining unbeaten teams in college basketball. Can you guys name them?
I can. I know Iowa State lost last night, but Arizona, Vanderbilt, Nebraska, Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
There you go. He is Mr. Basketball Knowledge. James Giglio, good to have you back, my friend. I figured you would know that one.
Yes.
Miami,
I would have
Ohio,
forgotten Nebraska. I knew the other 3. Nebraska would have taken me a while.
So Vandy, Nebraska, Miami, Ohio. Pretty cool. Arizona, really the only kind of traditional basketball team in there. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 noon. We're going to catch up with Macy O'Donnell. Been a while since we've talked with him, former ECU player and sideline reporter for the ECU Sports Network. We'll get his take on the portal and much more. Continue to look ahead to the divisional round, recap Pirate Hoops at USF, and more. We'll see you at 12 noon on Thursday.